What's up, guys? It's Sap back again with yet another Florida man story. Again, something involving drugs and the rectum. Very common in all my Florida man stories. You know, it's not even a joke. Probably at least 33% of all the Florida man news articles I review involve the rectum. Or, well, no, just 33% for the rectum and almost 90% where any substance is involved. So it's almost every time the same, but I saw this news article, and of course, because my goal is to make the most peculiar review, the most peculiar news headlines and articles, I had, of course, to review this one. Let me read the headline. Florida man denies syringes found in his rectum are his. Of course, you know, it could just be anybody's syringe. Could even be Obama's syringe in this man's rectum, because yes, that's another news article I've reviewed, and it's probably fake news, but it's about the guy, what is he called? Larry Sinclair, who claimed that he, quote, his words, bonked Obama. I never heard of the word bonk before, but now I unfortunately know what bonking means, but he claimed that he bonked Obama smoking crack in a limousine. That's legit what he said, and he even took a polygraph test, a lie detector test, to prove that it was real, and he failed the test. Nice try, buddy. It's like almost, you must be pretty low IQ to suggest in court that, okay, I'll take a polygraph test to prove it, and then you fail it. That's like, you immediately should just be, what is it called? Acquitted, or your case should just be cancelled, or whatever the fuck it means. I don't know, but of course, polygraph tests are not accurate at all. They don't, you know, neuroscientifically speaking, there's no proof that a polygraph test is actually accurate. But let me continue with this article, because it's of course very relevant to find out who did actually put the syringes up his fucking asshole. And this is the mugshot of the guy who had the syringes in his asshole. And of course you can tell by his face that he's very disappointed and sad that he got caught. But maybe he's sad because, again, maybe he's telling the truth, that somebody else actually put the syringes in his rectum. We don't know, but let me read the rest of this article. And by the way, I need to say this as well. My microphone is majorly scuffed. I did not try to stick it in my rectum this time, but I don't know what happened. Like, I moved it carefully without trying to, you know, do the things, what would happen if you have a jungler that goes 0 and 10 in League, which usually involves breaking the monitor, which has happened to this monitor, unfortunately. But I did not do anything with the microphone. Again, did not stick it in my rectum. But for some reason, the quality is horrible now. It sounds like a muffled, as if you're in a very tiny room, a muffled, congested. You got, what is it called? Ass candy. I don't know, whatever. Let me continue reading this article. So, Florida man denies syringes found in his rectum are his. Pinellas County, Florida. A Florida man claimed ignorance when jail officials found syringes in his rectum during an early morning strip search. Is that the same, which was no longer allowed? I guess it was called stop and frisk or something. Who is that manlet called with the dripping hair dye? Rudy Giuliano, who also tried to grope a woman in the Borat 2 movie. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard that there was a scene where he was trying to, you know, do the gritty, or whatever it's called, trying to grope a young female. I don't know if it was illegal, but everybody was talking about that scene. But is that manlet with the leaking hair dye who did implement stop and frisk? And I believe it was the biggest reduction in crime ever in terms of policy, but it was ultimately cancelled because people did not like to get searched by the police. And of course, there were claims that some ethnicities were searched more than others. But here's the thing. In the article, it says, during an early morning strip search. Did they ask the Florida man to take off his clothes and then found the syringes? Or what is a strip search? Strip poker, buddy? Oi. I have no clue what a strip search is, but maybe it's comparable to what I just told you, the stop and frisk. And if you look at this motherfucker, he definitely has the syringes up in his rectum, right? You can look at the what is it called? Bert, and Ernie type of face. Type of motherfucker who definitely would have the syringes in his asshole. So that's why I guess that the police stopped him for a quick strip search. Wesley Scott, 40, was arrested in Pinellas County on an outstanding warrant, charging him with drug possession. Okay, so apparently he did already have a warrant for drug possession, so that's why they searched him. Which reminds me, by the way, of this fresh new video. Actually, it's 5 months old, but it was just recommended to me on YouTube, and it's fucking hilarious. About a bloke who also had a drug possession charge and then was on probation and had to do drug tests twice a week. And then he was on Zoom call in court. It's very, very fucking weird. This is post-pandemic, by the way. So it doesn't even make sense why they do that shit on Zoom. But in the Zoom call, he was rolling up and ended up smoking a blunt. And then everybody was in the Zoom call was looking at him like, why the fuck are you doing this? Some redneck who was also on probation or whatever in the Zoom call looked at him like this. And then the judge was reminded, he actually smoked weed on the call. And then he had his probation canceled and needed to show up for a drug test the same day. But it's like, to me, why the fuck? This is a simple question, right? This is not criminal advice or anything. It's not even a crime to possess drugs, I hope, for the Americans. But why the fuck, if you have a warrant for drug possession, why the fuck would you carry, knowing that you can be searched, knowing that you can be found because he apparently didn't show up? Why the fuck would you carry all these syringes, these heroin needles in your asshole? Like, that's just my advice, to not carry any substances for at least during the period in which you have an open warrant for drug possession or probation or whatever. Can't you just not stick a syringe in your asshole for just 1 week or something? That might be, a good idea, but now he's screwed over, I guess. When Scott was searched at the jail, officers found 3 syringes inside his rectum. Okay, 3. He had 2 backups in case the one syringe wasn't working anymore. The heroin was clogged. However, Scott claimed he had found the syringes and they were not his, although he did not explain how they wound up in his buttocks. Again, it's the wind. Buddy, watch my other videos. I've done at least 3 videos of Florida man and also a woman claiming, in the woman case in particular, she claimed that the wind had blown meth in her vagina. Frontal. That's, of course, the... And also there was another Florida man who had cocaine flown into his car via the window. But many, many stories of the wind blowing shit up in there. So this case, obviously, it was the wind who had blown the syringes in this man's asshole. That's the only explanation I can give. Scott was charged with introducing contraband into a correctional facility and held on a $5,000 bond. Alright, he probably can't pay this because he's in massive debt and probably has to sell his dog in order to get a next heroin high, and he's not gonna spend it on the bond. But I hope he will enjoy the jail, or he probably already... Well, it's at correctional facility. I don't know what they mean by this. Maybe it's jail. America's weird. I don't know what correctional facility exactly is, but maybe he already was in jail, but now he's definitely going to have some more time. And of course going to be bent over in the shower, but I don't think he has many customers if he has 3 needles up in there. You got to be careful. You don't want shagging a cactus. Oi. Dealing with sudden unexplained neck pain. Nice. Oh, you can't see this this is an article on the site. But anyway, very quick video, nasty as usual, but that's my point. I'm trying to review the weirdest, most peculiar news articles. And maybe after this I need to review a news article of somebody who, I just saw this on the internet, who died because they injected themselves with snake venom. Good idea. I mean, it's seriously, I've said this in a previous video as well, that there's legit a theory behind why people inject themselves with snake venom. Because you can get high, motherfucker. No, actually, you can get high of snake venom. And how that works exactly, I can't tell you, but obviously it has to do something with monoamine release in the striatum. That's one thing you can guess, dopamine. And or endorphins. But probably endorphins mainly, because... the body registers it as pain and thus releases endorphins, I guess. But there's also another story. I've uploaded this video a week and a half ago of people eating raw, rotten meat to get high as well. And how that works, the physiology of eating raw, rotten meat, there was like major fucking mold on it. More what's between the legs of feminists. So it's insane that people, first of all, are willing to do that shit. Number 2, survive. And number 3, get high of it. But hey, I guess don't knock it before you try it. I'm about to get some raw, rotten meat. Thank you for watching.